time for you, Leo. Time for your weekly reading. This one is for April 15th to the 21st, 2021. And I'm sure it's going to be just as exciting as you are because you guys are pretty exciting. You can tell I love Leos because they're so fiery. And I'm Aries and we're fiery. And, fire and fire is just awesome together. So, anyway, I'm always excited about your readings because, they're fun. And I like fun. What can I say? So today I'm going to do a Celtic Cross, which is a very quote unquote normal, typical spread for tarot readings. And a lot of people love it. I'm not wild about it because it's very structured and I hate structure. And you guys are pretty fun. So I don't know if you'll love structure, but I want to give you variety in life because we do like that part, right? So let's see where we get with this thing. I have a daughter who only likes this spread because she likes the structure of it. She does not like any kind of a free-form situation. So she always makes me do this spread for her. Okay, I have a feeling this is going to be fun. Let's dive into it. Oh, wow. I just did another reading where this was the main card. Who was it for? It was for Cancer. And they had the Lovers for the card that represents you in the same, position, which was really lovely because this is a great card. The Lovers. Hopefully you're one of these lovers because it's a good place to be, having a lover and having a really exciting, great, fantastic connected relationship. I hope you are getting to experience that right now and for a long time to come. This is what crosses you, an obstacle. Oh, well, it's poverty. I'm not saying you're poor. You might just have less money than you normally would, or there might be some sort of financial situation going on right now. I don't mean to be so sarcastic because, this is your life, but I mean, everything can be worked with, and it is a matter of perception. I mean, I've been what I consider very, very poor, but there are people in the world starving to death, and I've never actually been there. I've had issues where I certainly couldn't buy my family the food I wanted to, but I've never been in a situation where there's literally nothing. So, I mean, it's very subjective, right? And if you've ever seen any of those happiness projects or things where they're evaluating people's happiness worldwide. Interestingly, the people who barely have enough to eat often are way happier people. Life is simpler and they're happier. So go figure. In any case, this could mean you have some kind of financial concern or health concern because pentacles can relate to health and wealth or security. I mean, it could be any of those things. Maybe you are it could be a thing where you're not actually poor, but you're between houses. You've purchased something, but you can't get in there for 3 months, and you don't know where the heck you're going to be for a time being. Something like that. There are all kinds of reasons that this wonderful card comes up. It could mean that you have a financial concern. Maybe you had more money, now you don't have that much money. Or, as you can see, this guy's on crutches. Everybody's looking kind of out in the cold. It could be a health scare, something like that. These are all considerations. It could be all or none of these things, That's how the cards work. I mean, it makes you look at your life and see what's what. So I hope it's not anything dreadful. It could be just a little blip. Sometimes you have situations where somebody's got a sickness. It's nothing terribly serious, but the card comes up, So whatever it is for you, let's figure that one out. And this is what's below you. What's below you is like your subconscious. What's going through what's in your head that, maybe you have to uncover a little bit. Okay, so this guy is working hard. He's doing positive things. He's putting something into motion, doing the work, creating the job, or the work that is needed to fulfill the job, whether it's growing things, whether it's, being a consultant for something or, whatever your job may be. But he's a little defensive. He's trying to get this done, and maybe he's got obstacles in his way that make life a little difficult sometime. But he's muddling through. He's doing it. So it's actually not a negative card. It's just a card that, there are some difficulties to face and things, but it's happening. And this is what's above you or what influences you. Oh, that's a lovely card, the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is about the beginning of some intellectual pursuit or some truth-seeking pursuit. Swords are about the intellect, about truth, and, finding the truth and finding ways to learn, about being a lifelong learner. So maybe you're going to start something like a course, or you're going to start studying something, or you're going to learn something that'll further your career, or you're going to learn something about something you want to put into motion. Whatever it is, it's at the beginning stages, and I say do it, because if the card comes up, it means that you will be successful. I absolutely believe that. Aces are very powerful. So this is what's behind you. I'm not surprised. Not surprised to see. When you see a lot of working cards, there tend to be more. So this guy, it looks like in the past you worked very, very hard, and you weren't always thrilled with, the compensation or the amount of work that was accomplished or something. You feel like you maybe put in more work than you got rewarded for, or things didn't go as well as you'd hoped. Now, the thing is, when you're a person who is striving for wealth or security, you will have ups and downs. That's people who create things and who set things in motion don't only have successes, they have their ups and downs. So this is also not a negative card. It's a card where something is being worked, something is being accomplished. But again, you're not happy necessarily with the results. And so that sometimes is a push for us to go farther and do better. So here's as we move into the future. And this is one of those cards that's always, when you don't know the person or they're not sitting right in front of you, it's very hard to evaluate the card. For a general reading, it's very hard. It appears in this card that there's a victory of sorts. I always think the querent, you, is the person who is having the victory, although I've heard the card read where it could be anybody in the card, like the people who did not win being the people who are, the reading is being done for. But this guy here, he seems just a tad smug for whatever reason, and he's won. So you could be coming into a victory. You could be having a victory. It could be an intellectual or a victory where you know more than somebody else in a situation where you need to. But whatever it is, I believe you're the winner here in something. Something where you have to win out over others. Maybe a job prospect. This card here is about your attitudes. So, the King of Swords. The King of Swords, you're getting some stuff about truth here. And learning and knowledge. The King of Swords is a very, very good king. Some people think he's a little bit cold. So maybe you know this guy, or maybe this card is just about your attitude. So if this is your attitude, maybe you're a little cool when you need to be, when you're pursuing something, which is not altogether a bad thing. I mean, sometimes we fire signs have trouble with being too passionate in situations, which can be our downfall. It's also what makes us great, though. So, we have to recognize that also. So, the King of Swords, he's very good at cutting to the chase, getting to the truth, being a little calculating. A good king, a judicious king. He's very, very smart. If this is a person you know, very good to go to for advice, especially about intellectual prospects. If it's you, maybe this is going to serve you very, very well. Maybe you need this attitude to perform something. Maybe it's this work that you're doing. Maybe it has to do with your relationship. Maybe letting yourself go too passionately. I personally don't believe there's ever a downfall in doing that, because you're better to enjoy things and go full tilt. And even if it all goes to hell, I'd rather operate that way, but then I'm kind of crazy. So maybe sometimes it is best to keep things a little bit cool. People believe that if you do that, you don't get hurt as much. I don't know if that's true or not, but some people believe it. So something to keep in mind. I think it has to do with the work thing, though, personally. That's what sort of is emerging to me. There's something about your work where you have to be a little bit calculating, maybe plan it out really well. instead of just diving in. This has to do with your environment. Oh, I did it. I'm sorry, I reversed those. If they actually came up naturally reversed, I'd read them reversed, but I turned them around. So this card is a card of opportunity missed sometimes. See, the guy who's the main guy here, you probably, and this is your home environment, remember, or your environment that you spend the most time in. He's looking at these cups kind of contentedly, but he's not noticing this other cup. So sometimes that can be an opportunity that's being presented to you, maybe in a very subtle way. Maybe it's something you have to take the time to notice. But it's there, so you don't want to miss that. Maybe just step out of your comfort zone a little to see what's around you and see what's happening and what maybe there's something about your home environment that could be improved on that would be quite simple, that's kind of right there in front of you. And this guy, he is looking to either the future or the past. A lot of people perceive it as looking to the past. And this is about your hopes and fears. So maybe you're not sure of what to do next. Maybe you're really evaluating what to do next and trying to be a little cool about it, to figure out what the next thing you want to do is to make things go the way you want. Maybe you're trying to figure out what to do next in this love relationship. Maybe you're married and it was amazing and still has amazing aspects, but you don't know if it's serving you the way you want. Maybe you have to present something to this person about how you want to proceed in life. I'm not even necessarily saying break up. Maybe it's the love of your life. Maybe it's just a matter of working together to get things on track. Maybe, there are all kinds of situations. Sometimes somebody's married to somebody they really, really love, but they're spending everything. And that can't happen if this little empire is going to go the way it has to go. So somebody has to have a rather clinical talk and get some clear communication going about that. And thus the King of Swords appears, or he appears for something else, some other kind of communication that's needed in one of these situations. Whatever it is for you, think about it. Hopes and fears. This is one of the few cards, well, not one of the few, but one of the cards in the deck that actually could be about hopes and fears. There are some that it's distinctly one or the other. But this one is, hopeful about moving into the next phase of life, trying to figure that out, looking back at the past to see what you regret and maybe would do differently, and fear that you could repeat something of that nature that you don't want to. So it's looking at a lot, but these are all good things because it's going to get you where you need to go, which is the outcome. More of these work cards. You're a hard worker. You're a go-getter. You're a real go-getter. And I don't want people, when they see these cards that look a bit frustrating with the work issues, to get too discouraged, because all of these cards mean you are working hard. Whatever it is, whether it's maybe you are a parent who stays home and you're working really hard, but there are lots of frustrations and you're juggling every ball in the world and it's hard, but you have to do it. You're going to do it. And you are doing it. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you have too many tasks. Sometimes you're not doing them as efficiently as you could. This could be work, your profession. And if that's the case, the same thing. But you're working hard. Whatever you're doing here, you are working hard at it. And you are making it happen. You will probably work hard your whole life. We fire signs are energetic people. We don't, retire and then just sit around all day. That's not how we work. It just isn't. And Leo, you guys are some of the really, truly exciting people in this world. So you're always going to be doing things. You're always going to be making things happen, putting things into action, striving towards those goals. And this card is a card of unbelievable determination. It's like determination where nobody is going to stop you. You are going to go into that battle with that sword of truth raised in the air, and you're going to get, you're just going to swipe everything out of the way that's an obstacle. So I am not one bit worried when I see this sword that any obstacle in life is going to deter you from your path. So this is good. This is really good. You've got a little blip here with something, but I have a feeling since your outcome is so strong And these cards are so relative to each other. We didn't see too much else about the Lovers. Like, we didn't see, a lot of other passion cards around the Lovers to really sort of cement this, but maybe it's about just you, even. It can be that even if you're not with somebody, you are this passionate person who will be a great partner at some point in life. Maybe you haven't found that person yet. It's just part of you, the being that you are. It's hard to tell, when there's nothing to really support it. Maybe let's pull out a couple more cards to clarify that, just for fun. Let's see what we've got. Huh. Well, it's not that fun, but it's not really devastating. You've had some heartbreak in life. There's been some heartbreak here. And you're kind of in limbo somewhere along the line. It could just be because of all the whole way the world is right now, where people can't do everything they want to do. But there's some limbo. You're trying to sort of find yourself, figure some stuff out. Now, you might have had some addiction issues or obsession issues. A lot of times this comes up for like OCD and things like that. But it could also be, it doesn't even have to be an addiction. It could just be a little too much drinking, a little too much everything. You're trying to tone it down. You're trying to maybe embark on something a little less intense. Could also mean an obsession with a person. So maybe at one point you had heartbreak because you were so in love. So like in love to the point of giving everything to the point of almost being bereft. That's a possibility. It happens, especially with passionate people. These things can happen. I'm not sure what this means for you, but think about it. I think everybody's getting this card a lot lately or other cards that mean like meditation and going into yourself and trying to figure out how to negotiate the world right now, plus our own lives. So I'm not going to regret pulling those cards, even though they're kind of not happy, because facing things with all this truth is much better than having it all under the rug. We don't want to be ostriches and hide our heads in the sand. And you're not like that anyway, Leo. You guys aren't like that. You don't sweep things under the rug at all, which is phenomenal. I have a feeling you're going to work hard in life, but you're going to have everything you have ever wanted. That's my belief. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I will see you soon. Have a great week.